It started with the water. Clear, sparkling, and pure, until it began to change. In the small town of Eldridge, nestled between ancient forests and rolling hills, the river was life itself. Generations had relied on its clarity and vitality, drawing sustenance and comfort from its gentle flow. But one morning, the water turned a sickly shade of green, bubbling and churning as if alive. People whispered about the fish dying overnight, and the trees by the riverbank twisting into grotesque shapes, their leaves blackened and curling as if burnt by some invisible fire. Emma, a local environmental scientist, arrived to investigate. She was driven by her love for the land and a nagging feeling that something unnatural was at play. The townsfolk were wary, locking their doors at dusk and avoiding the river altogether. They spoke of strange sounds, whispers in the wind, like voices calling from the depths of the forest. Emma dismissed it as superstition, until she saw it. One foggy evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma stood at the river's edge. The water glistened under the fading light, but there was something wrong, something watching. Suddenly, the surface rippled violently, and a pair of eyes emerged, dark and hollow, reflecting the pale moonlight. They stared at her, unblinking, before sinking back into the depths. Determined to uncover the truth, Emma waded into the water the next day, collecting samples. The water was thick, almost viscous, and it clung to her skin like a living thing. As she moved deeper, the riverbed beneath her feet shifted unnaturally, as if alive. When she reached mid-thigh, she felt something brush against her leg, a cold, clammy touch that made her heart race. She spun around, but there was nothing there. Panicked, she scrambled back to shore, only to find the town changed. The trees had grown twisted faces, their bark resembling screaming mouths. The sky was overcast with an unnatural green hue, casting an eerie glow over everything. The river's water now flowed uphill, defying gravity. Emma rushed to the town hall, where the mayor awaited her, eyes sunken and voice hollow. "The forest is angry," he whispered. "We poisoned the land, and now it's poisoning us." Days passed, and the horrors escalated. People disappeared, swallowed by the forest that seemed to pulse with a heartbeat. The animals turned savage, their eyes glowing with unnatural light. Emma found herself trapped in a nightmare where nature was no longer a sanctuary but a predator. In a desperate bid, she returned to the river, clutching a vial of water and a small device designed to analyze toxins. As the machine beeped, the readings revealed a horrifying truth: the water was sentient, a collective consciousness born from centuries of environmental abuse, now alive and furious. The river was not just contaminated, it was evolving, feeding off the pain and destruction inflicted upon the earth. It demanded retribution. Emma faced a grim choice: flee and save herself or stay and try to communicate, to find a way to heal the land and perhaps survive. As she whispered apologies to the river, the water's surface shimmered, and the faces in the trees seemed to soften. But the ending was uncertain. As night fell, Emma's silhouette stood by the riverbank, the water calm once more, yet a faint whisper echoed on the wind, an unending reminder that nature's wrath was never truly over. Still, Emma could not turn away. She spent the following days studying the river's rhythms and patterns, noting changes that defied logic. She documented how the water pulsed with a slow, deliberate heartbeat, and how the plants near the banks began to heal, their twisted limbs slowly straightening, blackened leaves fading to green once more. The townsfolk remained fearful, their eyes haunted by the recent horrors. Yet some dared to join Emma by the river, drawn by a fragile hope that perhaps coexistence was possible. Together, they planted native trees and cleaned the banks, showing respect in the only way they knew, through care and reverence. Emma devised a plan to communicate more clearly. Using bioacoustic devices and water sensors, she attempted to translate the river's subtle signals into data she could interpret. Night after night, she listened to the ripples and the murmurs beneath the surface, feeling a delicate connection growing between herself and the living water. One evening, as the moon hung low and the air was thick with moisture, the river spoke, not in words, but in images and feelings. Emma saw visions of past generations, of the land before it was scarred by industry and neglect. She felt the pain of the forest, the slow suffocation as toxins seeped into roots and soil. But with the pain came a plea, a silent cry for restoration and balance. The water did not seek vengeance forever, it sought understanding and renewal. Emma shared her findings with the town, urging them to embrace a new way of living, one that honored the delicate web connecting all life. Slowly, the community began to change. Factories reduced emissions, farms adopted sustainable practices, and the once fearful whispers transformed into songs of resilience. Though the river remained watchful, its eyes no longer hollow but shimmering with cautious hope, the town of Eldridge found a fragile peace. Emma knew the battle was not over, nature's memory was long, and its patience finite. Yet, standing by the riverbank under the stars, she felt a quiet promise in the cool breeze, a covenant between humanity and the earth, fragile but unbroken. The river flowed on, alive and aware, a testament to the consequences of neglect and the power of redemption. And Emma, forever changed by what she had witnessed, dedicated herself to guarding this fragile balance, knowing that the true story was only just beginning.